So
Appreciate
if y'all saw our title for today, positioning of blacks as consumers. But before we just jump right there, I just want to break down some what would you say? Not financial literacy, but
Mm.
things that have to do with it, maybe. Money, things of that nature. If anybody has a better phrase, they welcome to add it. Um, so I wanted to go here first. I probably should have put championing, but you get it. Um, should we be championing entrepreneurship in our community? Most of our businesses are sole proprietorships, where they don't really employ others. It's kind of just if you're, one barber, lash tech, so on and so forth. And since 2007 to 2017, 2004 to 2017, we had a 31% increase in those type of businesses, but they don't employ anybody. So it's just somebody kind of working for themselves, doing a particular thing. But I don't know how prosperous has been. So I'm just wondering, should we be pushing people to maybe do trade or things of that nature, as opposed to maybe chasing a dream or trying to start a business? Because I forget the percentage, but I think it's more than 70% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So should we be championing entrepreneurship or push people to maybe go to school or get trades? Because I never seen a plumber out of work a day in my life. What you think, Alex?
Ooh, I mean, I could not be a business owner myself personally.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people do it and they've been successful, but if someone were asking me, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm very much a supporter of trade schools, going to college. We're in a space now where people are finding other ways to make money. However, I think a lot of people forget that when you are in business for yourself, if you take a day off, there's no money, there's no pay. Um, is the risk worth the reward?
Hmm.
For most people, I don't think it is.
That's fair. That's fair. What you think, B?
Um, I say trade. Looking back at it, at times I wish I had went to trade school, but nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. I say trade. I do know several entrepreneurs. They're struggling. Um, I personally don't see myself ever having a business. I would say if that's what you want to do, then just step out on faith with it. I'm real huge on that. But I tell anyone, if the chance comes up for you to go to either college or get a trade or open up your own business, I say trade. The market is always big in terms of people who have certificates um, in the trade market. So that's what I say.
So wait, what about that stepping out on faith part? Are you saying do that?
I mean, if you want to open up your business and if you think it's going to be successful, I mean,
Wow.
what the fuck you wowing me for?
Cause like, come on, like if you,
Hell,
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him
what's the
out of here. Come
problem,
on.
man?
Put
What's
him
the
in the
problem?
fucking bedroom. Get
What's
him
the
out of here. Come
problem,
on.
man?
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
so let me get this straight. You're saying that you would do a trade if you could do it over, right? You saying that businesses fail and it's tough, but go ahead and step out there on faith.
No, but not, I'm saying if all I'm just saying is if a person wants to open up their own business and they think it's going to be successful, then what I'm saying is if that's what you want to do, then cool, go for it. I'm just saying that's just not what I would do. I would talk a person more so into doing a trade. But if their mind is hell bent on opening up a business, then I mean, cool, go for it. But the entrepreneurs that I know who have their own business, they're struggling. So that's the advice I would tell a person. But if they think they're going to be successful in that field, I mean, cool, go for it. I mean, just roll the dice and see where it's going to go.
I was having this conversation. This is slightly off topic, but I feel like people are not good friends to each other. I feel like we just go around letting people do whatever, like, oh, if that's what you want to do, when you know it's a bad decision.
Well, right, absolutely. So I would sit down with the person, and I believe in being transparent. So I would sit down with that person. I would tell them, hey, I know several people who have their own business. it hasn't been successful, they're struggling, etc., etc. But if that's what they want to do and their mind's made up on it, then I mean, but I would say to any young person in high school, I would say look into a trade. I wouldn't say open up a business. I also wouldn't say go to school. I mean, go to college. When I say school, I mean college. But that's just me, Hamp. I mean, I would sit down and be transparent with that person. I mean,
Okay. Well, that they added some context and perspective because
yeah.
at first, just like,
Like
all
I
right,
wouldn't sit back and say, like a person comes to me and says, I want to open up my own business. I wouldn't be like, okay, cool. I would sit down and be transparent with that person. But at the end of the day, if their mind is hell bent on opening up a business, because there are some people who have that mindset that I'm gonna do what I want to do regardless. Cool. I would just sit back and be transparent with you, be like, hey, I know several people. I have some friends who have businesses. It's struggling. They haven't been successful. But it's not uncommon for a person to be like, oh, okay, and then just go and do their own thing. And at that point, I'd be like, okay, cool. I mean,
okay, well, that's fair.
but definitely look into a trade. Definitely. I definitely say that. But
What you think, Q? Should we be championing entrepreneurship in our community?
Not necessarily, because I don't think everybody has the skill set for it. I think if everybody was an entrepreneur, then where would the employees come from? And I think a lot of people make great employees. I think that having a trade is very important, even if you do take the path of entrepreneurship, because it gives you something to fall back on. And I think that, you know, with the risks that come with entrepreneurship, again, everybody's not built for that. But when we say college, I think we have to be clear on what we mean by that as well, because let's say you go to college for a type of art or entertainment or something along those lines, it kind of falls into the same thing in my eyes as entrepreneurship. If we're pushing just go to college, just, you know, and if you're saying go to college and major in science, or not necessarily science, but the medical fields, or something to that effect, something that puts you in a boss position. I think that if we're championing anything with additional schooling, it should be something along those lines, not just go to college because you wanted to join a frat and then go be a music producer.
So you're saying people should only go to college for like more viable degrees?
Right, something that's going to make you some real money. So you may not be a college person. You want to go for a trade or certificate or something. Either way, I think the underlying message should be to go for something that's going to make you a pretty decent living versus, you just going because the shit look fun or everybody else is doing it, or you think that I really like this. That's great. So let that be a side hustle.
Okay. So you're saying fuck your dreams.
Damn, him. No, I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm saying if you're that type of person that's going to chase that dream, 9 times out of 10, you're built for the entrepreneurship life.
Okay. That's
I'll
fair.
disagree with that.
Go ahead, Eddie.
I think you made some excellent points at the beginning of what you were saying, but I think a lot of people try entrepreneurship life until entrepreneurship life tries them, right? I'm a chef. I have to do everything from my deposits at the bank, from managing a big ass Excel spreadsheet where I account for all of my materials, all the food, etc. Right? I have to travel. I have to move. I got heavy ass materials. I got to move the food. I got to make sure that the food is cleaned. Right? I got to do all of that by myself. Right? I'm a one-man operation where I'm feeding 5 people or I'm feeding 500 people. Right? So a lot of that is heavy as hell. And I'm giving me as an example, but let's say for the kid who, and I'll jump into my educator bag, the kid who, has the heart, he has the enthusiasm for it. He may not have the skills, right? And he can learn those skills. But if you are not 100,000,000% down for the fucking struggle of entrepreneurship, leave that shit alone. Or, be a part-time entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with that. Get you a job, utilize those capitals, gains that you get from the job to like partially, get that entrepreneurial goal going. But like, I used to tell kids when I was in schools, I'm like, college ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, make this money, get this, 6-figure job, get you a couple of certificates, and you good to go. We ain't gotta take no goddamn SAT. You ain't gotta worry about all that, right? Got little cousins that are electricians. Little niggas make more money than me. I'm saying, I'm like, I'm asking them for a little something at Christmas time, like shit. You know what I mean? But like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like absolutely, I agree with you on certain points, but throwing our kids to the wolves, like, nah. And then like entrepreneurship life, I turn people away. But it's like it's the motherfuckers that are about it that stick around. Like, nah, I want to learn more. Then it's like, all right, so I know who I'm dealing with.
So what again? What's the part that you disagree with what I said? Because it sounded like we said the same thing.
I would disagree when you said that we should, or maybe it was him. So I apologize. But in terms of like everybody being a part of entrepreneurship, I'm like, nah, absolutely not. Like
Nah,
that's
I didn't
that's
Yeah, I
say
not.
said
that.
everybody's not built for it. I think we basically said the same exact
Okay.
thing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Matter of fact,
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
thanks,
My
Eddie.
bad.
You literally said, look. Shout out to people following us on Twitch.
Who's yellow? Who's this beige nigga? Who's yellow? Oh, who you, dog?
Yo, yeah, no, I didn't. I don't know if I even said anything yet. Isha, what you think?
I agree with Q. I think we should present all options when we're speaking to our children. I know some entrepreneurs that's making money. I know that my stepdad raised us with and provided for us very well off of his own business. And I
Mhm.
also know that my sister right now, she's doing the damn thing. And there's some people, I mean, some jobs you it's just all for yourself. But my stepdad, he employs people who can't get a job any other kind of way, like felons or people without the Mexicans or the Jamaicans. But he offers
Jesus
he offers
Christ.
the opportunity for others to make money. Now he gonna work you hard. He gonna work you hella hard. But I mean, it worked for him. And on my end, I went to college. I got student loans like a mother. You know what I'm saying? So you have to explain all options when you're talking to our people. To each his own.
Yeah. Huh? Wait. What was the last part?
I said to each his own. If you want to go to school, go to school. You want to be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur.
I ain't even gonna do. I mean, you obviously seen
Not
me.
today, Ham. Not today.
Like, I mean, B and I just had a whole conversation about to each his own. But you gonna end it up. You know what? I'm gonna be the bigger person.
Be that. Be that.
Said, what you think, bro? Should we be championing entrepreneurship, or should we maybe guide the children to a different path?
I am all about versatility. Personally, I mean, I can go personally for me. Went to college for a little while, wasn't my thing. I have my CDL, so I can get out here and work for someone if need be. But I'm all about not punching somebody else's clock, building for my people, and helping my people get along and make moves. So that's my thing. The one thing about it, like Q said, Mr. Yeller said, being the boss ain't for everybody. And a lot of people need to learn that. Everybody wants to be the boss until boss shit hits them in the face. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's not a simple thing. Like Eddie said, I got to do all the same things. I got to set up the schedule. I got to make sure guys where they are. However, I do employ people. So I bring that to the table to where, I employ people like Isha's father did, people that can't get a job, people that have a questionable background according to the system standard, and try to get it to a place where they're comfortable and they can provide for their family. So that's my thing. I'm all about our people doing entrepreneurship, but you got to do something that you're capable of doing. You can't just jump out there if you don't have no skill sets, no talents in the field that you're trying to.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair. Miss Nay, what you think? Should we be pushing this entrepreneurship life, or should we, maybe guide them into a different path?
Um, I love the idea of entrepreneurship, but I'm always going to be a proponent for education. I'll be honest. I went to college, and in a sense, it's kind of like I went for a trade, the type of thing that I studied, and trying to find a job in that field can be hard. So I think that pushing the educational part of it to an extent when you're looking at entrepreneurship, because you want to get some of your education, your skill set from schooling, But as far as like trade, you have a better chance of having a job when you have a trade, like plumbers, electricians, and even CDL drivers. I think there's going to always be a job. You can also turn that CDL driving into an entrepreneurship as well, because you can have your own trucking company. So I guess it depends on the person. You know, everyone isn't a leader, yes, to that point that Q made. So I'm kind of, in some ways, maybe on the fence.
Do you think there's more workers than there are bosses?
I do, but a leader is only as good as their followers, because the followers are going to be the ones that are telling you what works for the business. You know, you won't have the workers, to be honest. You're working, in a sense, a leader's kind of working for their followers, working for the people.
What do you mean?
So as a boss, you have people under you. You have to understand what you, as far as what you're doing in a job, you know, if you have something that, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain as far as a follower. So followers, basically, you're telling the boss kind of what you want in the community or what you want for the job, what works. And they're kind of taking your lead in a sense, and they're just setting the tone for how the job should be ran.
What boss is doing that?
I look at it even like a politician. A politician is a leader. A politician is a leader.
I'm gonna help you out a little bit with that situation. I tell my guys all the time that I can't lead if I don't know how to follow. You know what I mean? And to me, that means that I have to know how to do everything that I'm instructing someone else to do. You know what I mean? And then I also have to be able to listen to suggestions from my guys if they feel like something's not working. I can't just strong arm or be too, you know what I'm saying, hard-headed myself to listen to advice from other people within, you know what I'm saying, the jobs that I do. Because with the snow plowing or the landscaping or the moving or the hauling, depending on what it is, I mean, somebody might have some advice that might help me that's working with me or working for me. You know what I mean? I can't just sit here, it's like, nah, you're going to do it this way. It might not be as efficient, even though I've been out here doing everything that I've been doing for a long time. I just can't be the guy that don't know how to listen and take advice from others.
Yeah, once Albert Einstein said, once you stop learning, you start dying. So I get that. But I'm just trying to decipher it. Yeah, so you should definitely take suggestions. But don't people, when you hiring people, don't they still have to work within your framework? Like if you don't provide a framework and a baseline, then what?
I mean, if that's for me, yeah. I mean, obviously you set a standard. You definitely set a standard. Everybody, you got to set a standard. You have to have things that, you know what I'm saying, run a certain way. I even correlated to coaching. When I was coaching guys, I tell them, you got to do shit the way I tell you to do it. And if it don't work, we can correct it from there. If you go out by yourself and just do anything, now I got to correct whatever you did and then see if what I told you to do from the beginning works. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. You know what I mean? You can't just go out and just do shit. Now, if you come to me and be like, look, I did this didn't work how I think it should work. Can we discuss a different way to, you know what I'm saying, approach it? Cool. We can talk about it. But if you just go out, do what you do, fuck up one of my lawnmowers, break my plow, that's a couple $1,000s that we out of. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, okay. That's fair. B, question. Are people lazy overall?
Yeah.
What you think, Eddie? Yeah?
Absolutely. I was discussing an example today. So last week at the gig, I was witness to one of the security guards not getting paid on time, right? Or at least he thought, right? When you're not aware, when you are not, quote unquote, the boss, right? There are different systems in place in order to pay employees, right? If those systems go down, for the most part, we've all had this situation where I'm gonna get a check, and you're gonna get a check either the same day or possibly the next, right? And yeah, it might jack up some things in your personal life. I get it, but ultimately, it's just like you don't do these things, which what he did, right? And open in front of everybody, right? He was calling. He got a little weight on him, but he was calling his boss a fat motherfucker, a fat ass nigga. Like, how dare you be late with my check? And then he called him. And he was telling them this shit in front of other employees, right? Obviously, he got fired immediately, right? Here's your little check, go on your way. But it's one of those things where I agree with B, just like everybody is not meant not only for the boss life, but even worker life sometimes. It's just like the etiquette is ridiculous. And I mean, if I could throw the word out there, just nigga shit is just not this.
Yeah.
I'm very blunt about that type of shit as a manager. When I was engaged in that world, it's just like I'll tell black folks in such a roundabout way. It's just like, make sure you wear socks to work.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have a comb in your pocket somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's those things like hygiene. Let's just, the
B,
world is working in for everybody.
Remember B had that issue at his job.
Yeah, bitch was stank.
Yeah. Adrian, what you think? Should we be championing entrepreneurship?
Yeah,
Final thought.
Man, it's such a skill set, right? I think people just see, because everybody doing it, people just want to jump in it. I hate being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to build my practice and stuff. So I'm just trying to get to a point to where I can have somebody else run everything for me. I'm not necessarily built for it. So I would champion it after you get a foundation. So like with my kids, right? Only thing I'm paying for is something that I know they'll be able to be successful and take care of themselves. Anything other than that, like, so if they wanted to do dance, I'm not paying for you to do no dancing. I'm not paying for you to start no business. I'm not paying for none of that. You know what I'm saying? After school, you could be a nurse because that's good. You always gonna have a job and get you some bread. I'll pay for that. You want to do your CDLs? You want to do a trade, something like that? I'll pay for that. Anything else you want to do, you better try to get you some other type funding. And then from once they are able to get a foundation, then you can slowly step out on something, which is what I'm doing now. I have the security of having my main job to where I have the opportunity to learn just what it really means to be an entrepreneur and all that goes into it. But I definitely think people just don't need to be doing it. It's not for everybody. The amount of work that goes in, how things change. People don't even know what it means to have a business plan. You know what I'm saying? They don't know their type of consumers. They don't know nothing about marketing. They don't know nothing about anything. They just want to have a LLC and think you a boss, but you don't pay nobody.
Yeah, so how
if
the
you
fuck
don't got employees, you're not a boss if you don't have employees, yo.
Yeah.
So I'm not pushing it. And I like too, when you were talking about people being bad friends. Your friends, when they be like, nah, like we shouldn't be telling our friends, well, hey, if that's what you want to do, do it. No, we should, that's a stupid idea. That should be the last thing you say. Don't end with it. But if you want to do it, I support whatever you do. That's not a wise decision. And that's the last, and that's how I'm gonna finish off the conversation. Now, if you choose to go do it, that's on you. But the last thing you heard from me was that's not a wise decision, or that's dumb.
Word.
Come on, Adrian. Him, you should let him go last all the time. Like he actually said some shit and stood on it. That's the fuck I'm talking about.
We taking shots already. Already.
Oh, do we need this button already?
Already.
I fuck with it. I like your answer.
It's the how you say it, Q. It's the sarcasm for me. Interesting. Is what it ought to be, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Oh, and we out.
We